I was actually asking a question. You did say that the House already is aware that something was wrong with the budget. That was why the Speaker set up a committee. But if you look at it critically, Nigerians are asking, why didn't the Speaker tell the nation the reason why he was removed from that position? Because the Speaker gave us another reason, saying that Honorable Jibril approached him to say his tasks were enormous. He couldn't just continue. But now you say it's as a result of what we're seeing now. Is it an attempt to cover up what was happening in the House?
Let me state that there is nothing happening in the House. I am putting the facts before you that it borders on the mutilation of the budget. And I told you categorically how members were shouting only on the floor of the House when Jibril was trying to, contribute to a bill on the floor of the House. I think you see, we must appreciate the truth. He was fired clearly because of the mutilation of the budget. How can he wake up and tell Nigerians that, what other tasks does he have on the floor of the House?
It's the Speaker that said that. The Speaker said he approached him.
Of Appropriation Committee.
Honorable Ogor, is the Speaker, we have him on record.
He approached him to try to save his face.
But he shouldn't have covered up if he knew that he was lying. Because he said, he came to him to say the job was enormous. And he had to ease him off. And now, until he started talking, we got a different vibe from the Speaker and his team. How do you think that Nigerians would take all of that as a man who...
Chamberlain, I'm asking you a simple question. What is the job of the chairman of appropriation? It's to collect the results. And so if he says the job is enormous, then automatically he's not even want to be a member of the House, because you are supposed to carry out a responsibility in the interest of the Nigerian people.
We're quoting what the Speaker said. I figured that was what the Speaker said on the floor of the House, which is what was said to have generated this flurry. Because according to Honorable Abdul-Mumin, he said that he already resigned his position. He agreed, himself and the Speaker agreed that he was going to resign, or he had already tendered his resignation. But on the floor of the House, the Speaker everyone heard the Speaker saying that, Honorable Abdul-Mumin had been relieved of his duties, but that even before that time, that the morning of that day, that Honorable Abdul-Mumin had approached him to say that the job was enormous, and as such, he wasn't going to be able to continue. The Speaker received applause on the floor of the House. Were you there at that particular briefing?
I was there. I was there. Yes, I was there. But
there was applause on both occasions.
No, hold on. I was not privy to that discussion, but the Speaker said it. And for me, yes, that wasn't the reason why he was fired. Because as far as I'm concerned.
So he was indeed fired. He did not resign.
He was fired because I didn't see that letter of resignation.
Was the Speaker lying then?
Well, I don't know when he discussed with the Speaker. That's why I said that at our committee level, when we sat, we discussed this issue extensively, and we agreed among ourselves that Abdul-Mumin should go. And I'm sure that probably somebody must have leaked the information to him from the principal officers, and it was probably based on that he decided to go and approach the Speaker and tell him that, this job is enormous for me and I want to leave. I mean, won't you ask yourself, why will he go a day on which he was about being fired? That is one question you must know, that there must be probably one mole among us that was passing out information to Abdul-Mumin or whoever he is. So he was, as far as I'm concerned, he was fired for the mutilation of the budget. And I think the important thing is that let's carry out a detailed investigation.
Let Chamberlain put a question through.
Yeah, Honorable, I just actually wanted to just play that report back again so that you actually see the exact words that the Speaker used on the day.
It's a development that many saw coming. The removal of Representative Abdul-Mumin Jibril as the chairman of the House Committee on Appropriation.
The commitment on the part of the leadership that will look into the appropriation process to see that we'll strengthen it in order to avoid pitfalls of the past. And one of the resolutions that we arrived at was to effect a change of leadership of the Committee of Appropriation. And incidentally, the chairman himself woke up to me this morning after that decision was taken and said that the burden is too much for him. He doesn't think he will be able to continue.
The Speaker also promised that other decisions will be taken to improve the appropriation process in the House, a process that led to the passing of the 2016 budget, which left many members upset with Representative Jibrin over his handling of the budget. He, however, denies that he was forced to resign.
I wasn't forced to resign. I resigned on my own volition. Until date, I have said if anybody has anything that I have done that amounts to an abuse of my office or amounts to an illegality, that it should be brought forward.
For the new chairman, he says he will take steps to correct the mistakes of the past.
In every opportunity somebody has gotten, there must be an improvement. We study what transpired in the past. We look at it critically, and we now see what are the possible solutions that can be applied to correct those mistakes that were made.
In the days ahead, it will be interesting to see how this committee settles down to work and what other changes the House will put in place for a more transparent appropriation process. Lanre Lasese, Channels Television News.
Well, we saw the critical parts there, how the Speaker spoke about Jibrin approaching him, and how Jibrin did say he resigned on his own volition. No reason, the Speaker didn't tell us that it's because of mutilation or padding of the budget.
I think we need to be very, very truthful to ourselves. When you watch the Speaker's comment, he said that there was a resolution that he should be relieved of his responsibility. Now, incidentally, that was his language. He approached him that morning to tell him that he cannot cope because of probably excessive pressure or whatever. What do you make out of that?
No, what we're trying to point out is,
so long to approach the Speaker when the Speaker was to announce his firing that morning.
I get the point, but the other question is, why didn't the Speaker take it a step further and said, yes, he did approach us that he wanted to resign on his own volition, but the reason why that resolution, or what the resolution contained, was A, B, C, and D. We don't know that information, or was it said and we missed it?
The speaker, I think you need to look at that clip again, told you categorically that because of the challenges that have emerged from the budget itself, it was a resolution that he should be relieved of that job. I don't know what you wanted him to say, whether he should point out to you that he removed this to this or this to that. And incidentally, the man approached him that same morning that he was supposed to make the announcement. That tells you that somebody must have leaked the information to him. You know, so I think we should not make a mountain out of an anthill. The truth itself is really in the speech. And I'm happy you played that clip, and you can now interpret the clip yourself. If Abdul Mumuni went to the Speaker that morning where he's supposed to make that announcement, to now say, oh, I'm tired of this job, I need to, what other job does he have in the House? He's the appropriation chairman. He doesn't do any other job than, sitting on the committee on appropriation. So for me, I think it was like crying when the head is cut
He
off.
said, Honorable Abdul Mumin, perhaps before he realized, because according to him, he was not in plenary that day. He only got to see what the Speaker said on the news at 10. According to him, that's what he wrote in his allegations.
He came
but before that time, he briefed the press and said that he put in his resignation willingly. That he wasn't just a moment that he wasn't under any pressure whatsoever. And he also said that he's been saying it before now, that if anybody had any allegations that he, used his position to, commit any illegality, they should bring it forward. How come the House of Representatives has been silent on those allegations?
You see, the facts are all in the budget. We don't just jump to issues. This investigation will be carried out in details. Abdul Mumini has come to the public to complain. And beautifully, he has alleged that some people mutilated that budget. He made an allegation, unless I forget that myself, Speaker Dogara, Adodogwa, and Lansu, with the secretary, were the one that carried the budget somewhere and mutilated that budget. Okay? as I sit here with you, I don't even know who the secretary of the appropriation committee is. I don't know whether it's a female or a male. You know, if not for all these lies, I would have bought into this story.